Welcome to another video, everybody. I got my coffee here, even though it's about to be 6, but it's been a rough day. Today, what I was planning on doing, as you see in this clip here, was gonna take our son to school, come back, and then clean this mess of a work area that we have. This is my chair right here. I can't even sit. It's got junk on there, just a bunch of disorganized stuff everywhere. But he's been having pink eye the last few days. He missed the last couple days of school. Oh yeah, he just started school. And it's been going rough. He's been having bad pink eye, so we took him. They saw him. They said if he needs another day, just bring him back tomorrow. He's already getting much better. So we brought him back, and then I didn't get to do the whole cleaning thing. Just been taking care of him. It's super hot in here in the garage, so to get moving around like that and recording myself, you know, it's not really it, honestly. So as you can see from the thumbnail, we're gonna do something pretty chill, hopefully easy. It'll be fun, and I'm gonna throw it on a hat. One of these hats that I have in here. We got a bunch of random hats that we haven't even used. Sometimes we buy what we need from a certain place and then we see some other cool hats. We pick those up, thinking we're gonna do stuff on them, and then we never do. So we'll pick out a hat that we haven't used and we'll embroider on that. We'll go over the whole digitizing process and then we'll embroider it. Feels like it's been a while since I've done a video, so thought it was about time. I also never got around to doing this hat right here. It was a bit of a mission. I was about to call it quits. The guy wanted, how many hats was it? Like 10 or 12, and I was having an issue, a bunch of little details. I was just going about the design all wrong. I literally slept on it. The next day I came back, boom, knocked it out. Everything was perfect. I never did a video on it though, so I might do something like that in the future, even though I don't need to do anymore, but hey, show you guys what I did. But anyways, enough about that. Let me just get this stuff out of here. Onto the table, which I'm gonna have to move in just a second. But future me's problem. Also, check out this design I did not too long ago. I'm planning on putting on a hat, like a green, military green hat, and then probably uploading it. I've been working on linking like products onto my YouTube, just in case like the times that I'm doing my own personal hats or designs, I'll have them there in the products, and then you could pick one up if you like. But anyways, I've been fishing maybe once or twice in my life, but man, when the times that I have, this last time was for my birthday last year. We went camping and it was just a blast. So I will try to make this pretty fast. I've been looking into more detailed digitizing videos. The last ones that I've been doing are more of that nature. So pretty much what I'm just gonna be doing, from what I can see here, tatami fills 2 different colors. So I'm gonna do the yellow. I'm gonna jump to the pink. I'm gonna do the white in the eyes, satins, and then I'm just gonna finish everything off with borders. So I'll be taking off automatic trims, and then I'm just gonna be drawing all the borders, and that should be fine. We're gonna work on pull and comp, move the tatami fills a little bit so we don't have any gaps or stitching sticking out, and that should be good to go for a hat. So let's go ahead and resize this. Let's say 2.6 because we do have a little bit of space in the illustration here, so it should be 2.5 when we're done digitizing it. So let's start over here, digitizing closed shape. Let's get that yellow, and it's gonna be one big yellow shape. The good thing about like these illustrations is that the borders are huge, so it makes it a little bit easier to digitize all the outlines without having too many issues. So all I'm gonna do here is go around the body and press enter to close off the shape. Change that back to fill. I had an outline. What I'm gonna do here is put this at the bottom and put this close. You can do it here. Since it's starting here, that's the angle. It's gonna do it all in one run instead of splitting. Like let's say I have the end right here. It's gonna go up, then it's gonna come up here and go down. Sometimes they don't meet perfectly, especially like if you're not using the correct stabilizer, your tension's not right, and then you'll get a gap in the stitching where you can see the fabric sticking through the design. That happened to me a lot when I was just starting. I didn't know why. There are ways to work around that, but for now, make it easy on yourself. Just put it from one end to the next. And I'm gonna put here to not trim so that it jumps right onto this little piece up here. This one I'm just gonna do it like that. No particular reason, the way that it's moving, it just seems like it's cool like that. Now let's go ahead and digitize close shape, make sure and fill. We'll go with this pink, dark pink, and then let's work on the feet. All right, So what you could do when jumping onto the next object that's the same color, you could put this off and leave it like that, start digitizing the cup, and what that's gonna do, the machine's gonna jump to that next area and then just leave the thread that you could cut off. Or if you don't want to do that, you start a running stitch where you want it to end. It's not gonna do the cut here. You do a running stitch. Usually you want to do it on the border or somewhere that you know it's still gonna get stitched over, like that. Same right here, you want to have off automatic trims and then go do your next part. That way your machine does not make the cut, but also doesn't leave that jump stitch that you later have to go in there and cut, burn, all that. It's a bit funky here. I'm not gonna stress on the design itself too much. I think what I do need to do though, add a couple holes here. We'll leave it like that. I'm not gonna stress over that too much. Same here, let's end it right there, because here I could do a running stitch. Select that, off, and let's do the bill. I'm gonna switch up this angle just so it's not the same as the body. Alright, let's add this in brown before we jump into doing all the borders. And let's do this one a satin. Does that look right? Need it to be more narrow. Let's move that up a bit. I think it makes more sense if it's right there. Okay, now let's set up our borders. Digitize open shape. I'm going to be doing satins. Off. Black. Now let's see how thick these satins are. That's way too thick. Let's see. Let's put that 0.04. That looks pretty good right there. So make sure that's set up. Off. And alright, let's do it. I'm gonna go back and make these pointy once I'm done with everything. For now, let's just go ahead and outline everything up. I am gonna come back for the black part of the eye because I do want to draw that out actually, just to make a smooth shape ending with this little eyelash right there. So I'm gonna skip that for now, just keep going. And as I'm doing this, I'm just thinking that the next piece that I'm putting down needs to be connected to the previous border. So I'm just doing this really fast. In just a bit, I'm gonna kind of go back into it and fix things that need to be fixed. For now, I'm acting like I'm in a rush. Like I mentioned, I could be kind of careless here because the borders are pretty thick. We're not doing this for anybody, so we're just making it easy on ourselves here. Guarantee you we'll still have a nice looking design at the end of this. And there we go. What you could do here on some of these ends that have to be pointy, you click on it. And I think I saw this on somebody's TikTok. I forgot who it was. I didn't even know you could do this, or I didn't think about it. You just go in there. Even though it's just a solid single line, you can still break it apart. And then when you reshape, boom, you just make that pointy. Legit. Same here. Break it apart. Reshape that bad boy. I'm gonna finish doing this. We'll finish the eyes and then we'll mess to avoid push and pull comp issues coming up. Alright, got that settled. Let's digitize close shape here. And then let's do this. Alright, let's go like this. Whoa, what is that? Fill, satin, add stitch angles so they flow. I'm gonna put my end right here on the eyeball. automatic trim off still, and then here just do the black like that, satin, and there we go. I'm actually gonna extend it a little bit because I'm gonna put the white right here, and I want everything to overlap so I don't get any holes right there. Digitize close shape once again. Change it to satin. Let's fix these here. Not bad. Our ending back on the eyeball, the black part of the eye. Change that to satin. Next, digitize closed, white. These are going to be satins. Make sure everything overlaps just a little bit. So I think everything stayed in no automatic trim. So like let's say the white from the other eye, we're gonna have a jump stitch that connects to this one. There we go. Actually, I think this white would have had to been underneath. Yeah, it needs to be underneath all of this over here. Actually, let's put this all the way at the bottom, and then we'll just do the beak border, the last thing here. There you go. So it'll be a little weird, the order, but it'll end up covering it the way that it's supposed to be, just like that. Let's do circles right here, satins. Let's make the 2 holes. These are really tiny, so might not come out the best. Change these back to black. Order, a little wonky here. Actually, yeah, let's avoid that. Well, it's already doing the black border of the beak, so it's not doing any unnecessary color changes. What am I missing? Let's go back here to the eyebrows. Alright, that looks pretty good to me. Last thing we want to do is, especially for the body itself, because it's the biggest part, is shift things around so that we don't get areas that are sticking outside of the borders, or that we're too short that we have a gap between the body and the border. So pretty much our angle is almost left to right completely. So all the right side here, everything that's running across like this, left to right, want to make sure we pull that out just a little bit. This is literally a 2.5 inch character, so you don't expect much of this to happen. So everything that falls on the left and the right side of the character, let's scoot it over a bit. And then you do the opposite for the top and bottom, because those are going to get pushed out. So we pull that in. Same here, all the stuff at the top, pull it in just a little bit. And there we go. How are we looking here? That looks alright. Not too worried about that. Let's see how we're looking in size. 2.5. Center that. I might do this 2.4. I'm thinking I might embroider this on a dad hat. With those, you usually have a smaller area to work with. So let's just do 2.4 to be safe. The duck back here. What am I missing? I guess these little feathery things here. They were around there, right? So this, in the image, what was it? Pink as well. So we got a better idea. I'm gonna be using light pink like that. Same with the body. It'll be like this. Or is that too light? I was getting too used to the other pink. I think this might be too light. Let's keep these light pink and this one, the darker one. All right, we're going through with it. I think the only thing I'm gonna change is the cup. It doesn't make sense that it's the same color as homeboy or homegirl. Black. We'll do a baby blue, just to add a little bit more contrast right there. All right, well, let's pick a hat. I'm thinking it's gonna be something like this. I don't know if it'll be this red one, but most likely a dad hat. We got these washed dad hats. They're pretty sick. Probably only did one, and we have a bunch. Decky flat bills. We got these flat build hats that are pretty cool from Decky. Look at that, all warped. We got the two-tones dad hats. Your Yupong 5 panels, of course. You got a bunch of different colors. These Yupong, these are sick. Check these out. Random. And a bunch of whites. We never really use those either. We got beanies. galore. These orange ones are pretty cool. They're not waterproof. They're like water resistant. The water just kind of flows off of it, but you wet it enough and it'll still get soaked. Never did much with those. Over here we have our different colored dad hats. This was pretty cool too. At wash. We got the Yupon green build hats. Pretty sick. These we've actually have been using. A bunch of other, these two-tone ones are pretty sick too, from Decky. This one here, you guys remember one of my first videos, I did the KB 3D puff. I think it was this color or the other way around. I'm gonna link that so you guys can check it out. Actually one of my better performing videos, so special thing there. But yeah, we got some foam hats as well. But let me look for the one we're gonna be using today. We're just gonna go with this washed one here. Here's the pile from earlier. Let's just scoot that over a little bit. Also, we got this stabilizer from Auto. We picked up some hats from their actual warehouse and they threw some stabilizer in there, but this thing is paper thin. I used one for a hat and it was like using nothing, so I'm out of my normal stabilizer, so I am going to be using 2 of these. Would that be too much? Actually, I'm going to use 2 of these, fold it in half, making it 4 of these really thin sheets. Just because it's a dad hat and I'm not running a practice, I'm just jumping straight to it. Alrighty. Usually, if it's like text or something like that, like I would clip the sides so that line stays straight. For this guy, don't think I need it. Even if he moves around a little bit, that's fine. Here's the big boss himself. What's up, big boss? All I did that I almost forgot was add the little steam on there. Got the hat just about ready to go. Here's our friend upside down, obviously, because we're doing caps, and I have my start and stop at the end so that I know how low I could go without having any issues hitting the bottom of the hat or anything like that. So let's say here I run the trace. I'll probably lower it just a little bit. This hat does kind of bunch up right here. It gets thick underneath with the stitching, so if I go too low, that will hit and I'll probably get thread breaks, or the satins would just be all funky. So I'm just gonna do it a little bit, center it, and we're good to go. I'm gonna run the rest of the design at 700 stitches per minute. It gives me a time of 12 minutes and 30 seconds. Design has 8,307 stitches, so we'll let it do its thing and then we'll check it out.
Once again, it is that time.
KB, you son of a gun, you've done it again. All right, came out clean. Little ducklet here. Here we have it. Now this is centered up. What I usually do is I scoot it over, even though it won't technically be centered, because now it looks like she's a little bit too much to the right, but this is completely centered. I don't care. Came out clean. I was too lazy to change one of the threads to brown, so the coffee, I just did it black. And that I was gonna do like a light blue. I just did whatever blue I had on there. Also, that's my washer in the background. This is truly the definition of a home operated business. And I can't stop it because I'll get grounded. But there it is. After I started digitizing, I kind of threw caution to the wind and wasn't connecting my borders and all that stuff correctly. So that's why we still ended up with these jump stitches. But if you guys remember here, I did a running stitch that led from the feet to the beak. That stayed completely hidden underneath that border, which was the point that I was trying to make. All of this other stuff was just because I was digitizing it pretty fast. That's just the coffee. There it is, folks. I'm really happy the way it came out. It's looking great. Let me know in the comments if you have any more questions, or also shoot me an email if you guys need some hats done. I'll ship them out anywhere to the US. You guys know the quality here. And yeah, if you got some work that you need to be done, hit me up. I'm all for it. As always, hit the like and sub. I really appreciate it. Makes a difference. Help out the video, all that stuff. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. See you on the next one. Deuces.